Well, the National Security Minister has been speaking, and at a forum that was properly dealt with by Mama V as the what they call it,
moderator,
one in charge of the program. He spoke about misinformation or disinformation and national security ahead of the elections. Some of the things he raised were connected to how he believes some civil society agents, some elements in the media, and also others generally, are creating an environment and pushing for coup d'etat or instability, or what we mostly term unconstitutional removal or overthrow of a legitimate government. That is what he said. In fact, he moved on to say that they use forum and their following to do this what they call it, pursuit. First and foremost, I believe that, and frankly, some of the best documentaries I've done in my entire life are related to looking at unconstitutional governments and the atrocities that happened during those times. So if you have watched Who Killed the Judges, Scars of the Revolution, I have gone through painstaking time I've taken that time to deal and expose how people suffer when we have unconstitutional governments in place. Yes. So me, I can never support it. You get what I'm trying to say? True and true. I can never support any irregular, unconstitutional overthrow of government. But let's not, and I've heard Professor Champo and also Suleiman Abraham say that please stop cowering people into silence merely because they are complaining about the realities on the ground. Unconstitutional governments do not come overnight because people dreamt and they felt like they have too much independence in their country, they are doing very well, and they actually decided to do what's wrong. No, it doesn't happen that way. Check the literature. Bad governance, poor economic conditions, those are the ones that actually let it happen. So the National Security Minister, that ministry used to have a human security desk.
Yes.
Their responsibility was to make sure that the welfare of people were promoted in this country. I remember some time ago, it was Nunu Mensah who was, I don't know if it was a demotion or an upgrade to that position.
Looked like a demotion at the time.
Yes. Who was put on that particular desk. Now, let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of pain in this country. People are really suffering. The minister should concentrate on advising government about the realities on the ground. Sometimes even opulence in times of suffering. When you know that people are suffering in this country and we are doing things that suggest we don't care about the people, those are the triggers. You know the triggers. Please, Mr. Minister, I respect you, so I will say you think about what you have said in the end, and hopefully you'll be working towards improving the condition of this country.
And you see, when you have a Minister of National Security who is an accountant, who's worked in ECG, has been a member of Parliament, for a very long time, chaired the Public Accounts Committee. He understands these issues, and he understands the fact that, look, when times are hard for the people, the least the government can do is to show working that it is helping the people. Today, what is Dapaah's advice to government in dealing with the economic hardships? Has Dapaah advised government on steps that should be taken? Maybe he has, but we do not have that information. Of course, we don't expect him to put that information to us. He will just advise government on what government should do. But at least you expect to see these things happening. We sat here and said the president should reduce the size of government.
Nothing.
That's actually just a signal
still
to the people that I appreciate the problems you're going through. And because of that, I am reducing the size of government. So that even that expenditure, it's just symbolic. I mean, you're sending the right signal. Even if so that's one way of doing it. We're here, ministers resigned. The president could have appointed other ministers within the government to fill those positions.
Brought on new ones.
He brought on new ones. Or he could have actually, elevated some deputy ministers to take over. He filled those positions.
Barely a year to an election.
Yeah, you ask yourself, where are we going? The thing about insurgency all the time, the thing about people preaching these things, look, yes, people have talked about the neighborly effect, the fact that the neighborhood effect, you know, the fact that it's happening in Burkina Faso, it's happening in other parts of West Africa. We must be prepared. I, Winston Amoah, would never say there should be an overthrow of government. Because if there's an overthrow of government, law and order is lost.
Yes.
People take advantage and do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want that. Because why would I want a situation where you are a target all the time? No.
Yeah.
But
even free speech is affected.
Yes, free speech is affected. But the National Security Minister should be advising government, should be advising the president on steps that they must take today. What are people complaining about? What is it that we can do for the people? If people are complaining about hardship, they say inflation is very high and imported inflation is high, food inflation is high. Why is food inflation high? Is it because we don't produce food in this country, enough food in this country? If we import, yes, you may want to, ensure that Ghanaian businesses work and so are able to provide the food. But the evidence is that they've not been able to provide the food. So in the short term, what you can actually do is to reduce import duties on the staples that we import the most, to bring it down.
And import duties all-time high.
And then you actually assist Ghanaian businesses who can actually engage in substitution of those imports.
Yes.
Don't just go and give money to IEA and NEIP and all these things.
Uselessly distribute, which will increase the inflation.
Go and identify Ghanaian farmers, identify Ghanaian businesses, give them money. And let all of us know that, okay, see, I'm helping these people, I'm helping that person to be able to come back and help you. Don't just sit back and say that the next government, MPP government, is going to deal with the challenges. We have 15 months to go. 15 months. Can't you do anything in 15 months? 15 months. And the president is already telling us that the next MPP government is the one that would take us out of the problems.
If he has given up.